Hey there in YouTube land, and welcome to Fright Night. For real. I always love saying that. Tonight I'm reviewing the classic Tom Holland 1985 sleeper hit, Fright Night. When Fright Night came out originally, it nobody knew kind of what it was, and it wasn't at a time when vampires were going on a lot. Like the 60s and 70s had the Hammer horror and kind of like the Ken Yorks and stuff like that. But vampires kind of weren't the in thing at the time, as the movie mirrors later on. But let's get down to this is going to be very spoilery. So if you have not seen the 1985 Fright Night, go out and see it. Grab the DVD, or I wouldn't suggest paying the rip-off prices that Twilight Time asks. But first, here goes with the cast. Synopsis, and then I'll go into my review. Fright Night is directed and written by Tom Holland, who would also write and direct the fantastic movie Child's Play, the original one. He would later go on to do some stuff that I was not too fond of, but he did do Psycho 2, which I really, really did like, and a few other films. Actually, a movie called Scream for Help, which I really, really like. He also wrote and directed Thinner and The Langoliers. Not so much, but some people are kind of big fans of those. Fright Night stars Roddy McDowall as Peter Vincent, the great vampire killer. William Ragsdale as Charlie Brewster. We have Amanda Bearse from Married with Children. Of course, you would play Marcy later on Married with Children. She's Amy in this one. She's very young. Stephen Jeffries would go on to be in Fraternity Vacation as well as adult films. Plays Evil Ed in this one here. We have, of course, the vampire himself, Chris Sarandon, who of course was the husband at one point of Susan Sarandon, and he plays Jerry Dandridge, the suave-looking killer, the vampire. This was a great film. I mean, from start to finish, this was fantastic. Pretty much, it starts out with Charlie Brewster and his girlfriend Amy are making out on the floor with Fright Night. It's a local kind of a horror host TV show that shows out a lot of the old Hammer style vampire films that stars a local celebrity by the name of Peter Vincent, played by Roddy McDowall. And we see how cheesy they are when they show a scene at the beginning of the film when he's going to stake the vampire, and he has the stake backwards so that he's going to actually hit the pointy part. It's basically a really cool touch, just showing that, like, kind of the cheesy movies that were done back then, kind of one-take B films. And with that just one little sequence that's just a couple seconds long, they really drive in what type of actor or a bad actor that the character Peter Vincent is supposed to be. And it's really extremely hard to play a bad actor if you are an actor, especially an actor of the pedigree of Roddy McDowall. Pretty much, Charlie looks out the window to check on the new neighbors that are moving in, and the first thing he sees is a coffin. Now, that kind of freaks him out, and he kind of spends more time looking over at the neighbor than he does at his girlfriend, who's ready to make love for the first time. She gets extremely angry and kind of storms out on him as he continues to be distracted. Charlie will watch his neighbor over the next day or so and see girls coming in that are showing up on the news as being murdered. Finally, he looks into the window one night and sees a girl, a very attractive girl, kind of a Lena Romay looking girl. And I kind of think this was done on purpose. Basically, unhapsing her bra. And she's beautiful. And we see Jerry Dandridge behind her as if they're about to make love. But then we see Jerry Dandridge's fingers are extremely long. And we see the fangs for the first time, as does Charlie. And he realizes immediately that, yes, this is a vampire, and holy crap. And the vampire sees Charlie looking at him and puts down the shade. Now, Charlie makes a rookie mistake of going to the police right away, and basically doesn't tell them first that it's a vampire, but he does afterwards. Now, Jerry's not there on his own. Jerry's there with Billy Cole. And Billy Cole, I gotta make sure this is right, because let's see. Yeah, Jonathan Stark plays Billy Cole. I just love that name. It's just so cool. Uh, and he does such a good job. Billy Cole is kind of like the ghoul, the one that takes care. He's the one that can walk in the daylight when Jerry's resting. Jerry loves apples, by the way, so you get a few scenes of Jerry taking huge vampiric bites into apples. He's a fruit-loving vampire. Uh, we also see early on that Charlie's girlfriend Amy looks identical to a great love of Jerry's life, and we see her picture in a portrait of in an early sequence. Basically, when the police don't help out, uh, he runs over to Evil Ed. Evil Ed is played by Stephen Jeffries, and fantastic, by the way. And he says he basically gives them the rules of vampire. Think about Scream, and remember when Randy gives the horror film like basically the slash rules? It's like that, except he's given the vampire rules. And the most important one is that Jerry's not able to go into that house because he's not been invited by the rightful owner. So, pretty relieved but still nervous, Charlie goes back and starts nailing up his window when he gets a call from his mom to come downstairs to meet someone. And yeah, you probably already guessed it. Jerry Dandridge is played by Chris Sarandon, and basically, Chris is a good-looking, tall, dark, and handsome guy that the single mom has definitely invited in. And yes, the rightful owner has invited him in. So it basically tells him that he may see him a lot. He can come whenever he wants, with his mother's kind of permission, of course. It's a really good scene, and every scene that Chris Sarandon plays, he plays it with such a smooth charm to it. He's dangerous when he needs to be. He's kind of like humorous and flippant when he needs to be. He's just amazing in this film. One of my favorite vampire portrayals of all time is this one here. Now, the Charlie basically gets to the point where after he gets attacked by Jerry one night and sticks a pencil into Jerry's hand, wounding him. He gets threatened by Jerry that basically the next night he's going to be killed, and Jerry smashes up his car. Basically he trashes Charlie's car. So Charlie gets ready. He tries to go to Peter Vincent. Peter Vincent doesn't believe him, thinks he's crazy, and just pretty much drives off from the kid, as you kind of would when you're being asked to go and kill somebody's neighbor because they're a vampire. Now, when his friends realize just how far that Charlie is going to go to do this, and he's ready to kill, they go back to Peter Vincent, who is an idol of Charlie's. As I said, he was taught watching a show at the beginning, and Peter Vincent is like this big guy for him, but he'd been spurned by him already. However, Amy offers him a $500 savings bond that she has, and Vincent, who had just been fired from Fright Night because nobody watches vampires anymore, everybody wants killers with ski masks killing young virgins, jumps at the chance, calls Jerry, and basically sets up a vampire thing where basically he's going to go in and use fake holy water to prove that Jerry Dandridge is not a vampire. Jerry says not to bring crosses because he's a born-again Christian, and that wouldn't be a good thing. And no real holy water. So he brings the holy water, they do the ritual, and Charlie is flabbergasted when he doesn't turn into a vampire, and doesn't quite believe that basically that the guy was a vampire. Well, did a real vampire test. But Peter Vincent assures him that everything's okay, and opens up his mirror to check himself, and sees that there is no reflection in the mirror for Jerry Dandridge. Scared now and shocked that he's come in contact with something he's been acting about for years. He kind of just shoos the kids out and takes off in the car. It's one thing to see it in a movie, it's another thing to see it in real life. And Peter is not ready or willing or wants to fight any vampires that aren't celluloid. Charlie notices as soon as he goes outside that Peter is shaken up, and Peter basically just takes off. The kids start to go off on their own, and Jerry is pretty sure that it's all taken care of, until he feels the crunching of glass under his shoe and realizes that yes, Peter has seen. that he's a vampire. In a really great sequence, they walk. Amy and Evil Ed and Charlie are walking Amy home when Evil Ed decides to take a shortcut. He cries wolf once and gets them running, and basically makes fun of the fact that Charlie and Amy ran to his rescue when he decides to go on his own. They keep on walking forward, and unfortunately, Jerry swoops in, and in a scene that's almost kind of like touching, he takes Evil Ed and bites him. It makes him one of his own. But like he says, you're like me. You're strange. You're different. But nobody's going to pick on you again. Actually, in an early scene when he attacks Charlie, this is really almost all Charlie's fault because he says, forget about me, Charlie. I'm going to give you something that I never had. I'm going to give you a choice to forget me. And Charlie attacks him with a cross. Anyway, they run into a discotheque when they realize that they're being followed by Jerry Dandridge. And in a really great kind of a musical sequence that actually is amazing here. Such great camera work in this one here. And such an amazing soundtrack. Jerry whisks Amy away and basically tells Charlie that if he wants to see Amy again, he has to get Peter and bring him to the house that night. Peter at first says no, because he's just been attacked by a vampiric Evil Ed and has just managed to escape with his life. Pretty much searing the cross to Evil Ed in the process. When it's time for Charlie to finally go in, he runs in to attack and get back Amy, and Peter Vincent shows up and goes with him and puts the cross out, using a line from one of his movies, "Back vile creature from hell." But he doesn't believe in the cross. He doesn't have faith in himself even. Peter Vincent is a broken-down actor at this point, and the cross doesn't work if you don't have faith. Watch the Hammer movies. One of them actually uses that, where you can pull the stake out of himself because the person is an atheist. Now, it's a little nod to that. Basically, he runs out, scared to death. Peter Vincent is scared, and goes into the next house, and he sees the vampiric Evil Ed again, who is hiding in the mother's bed. But the mother's okay because she's working nights, and dinner's in the oven. But he's attacked, and this time he has to kill Evil Ed. He's staked, and it's a really sad and touching scene as we see this young, innocent boy die and kind of plead because he's in pain. It's a scene that kind of touches the character Peter Vincent, but also it's an awakening for Vincent, and he's ready to fight. He's still scared, but he has faith now, and he's ready to fight the vampire. By this point, Charlie has been thrown into the room with his girlfriend Amy, who's been bitten. So she has become a vampire, and the only way to stop somebody from becoming a full vampire, well, you have to kill the one that created her before morning. And time is running out. He's in a room with vampiric Amy when he's saved by Peter Vincent, and they're attacked by Billy Cole, the ghoul. Again, they shoot him, and then Charlie stakes him as he's about to throw Peter Vincent off of the stairs, and green goo comes out of him, and we see basically the death and destruction of Billy Cole, the ghoul. Now, after this, they run downstairs. He has to fight with Amy as they're trying to fight off Jerry Dandridge in his vampiric form, which is more horrific than the good-looking Jerry Dandridge that you see throughout most of the film. The effects here are really good. There's a really cool bad effect done, and great makeup, and it's all done by Steve Johnson, who was a fantastic makeup artist, especially back in the day. I think he may have written some stuff, or had a lot of his stuff shown in Gore Zone magazine. If you remember that magazine, I think they redo them now, but there was the original run of Gore Zone magazine, which was kind of a gorier, more indie horror film style of magazine that was used as a kind of a spin-off for Fangoria. In the end, the fight down in the basement where Jerry's coffin is, smash open all the windows that have been painted black, and Peter Vincent, in one last uh, fit of bravery, lowers the coffin lid down just as Jerry's about to get in it to escape. Jerry goes to attack Peter Vincent because Peter Vincent is still the weaker of the two, and Charlie whips open the curtain, getting the last bit of light that goes directly onto Jerry and destroys him. He bursts into flames in a really fantastic sequence. And Amy's still kind of vampiric at the time, tries to go towards him and be destroyed too, but they save her. We see that basically it's a little while later, and Amy and Charlie are on the bed making out again with a new Fright Night series playing on the TV in the background. Peter Vincent says that they're going to be showing some different type of films and some aliens and creatures because they're going to put the vampires to rest for a while. All right, Charlie? And Charlie thinks he sees some kind of bright lights, maybe some red eyes in the over next door, but he kind of shrugs it off and goes with Amy and says everything's all right. We hear like kind of a nice music, and then we see the bright red eyes come up again, and we hear the words that we heard Evil Ed say earlier on in the movie, "You're so cool, Brewster." And the Jay Giles main soundtrack song, Fright Night, starts to play as the credits roll. It is an amazing film from scene one right up to the end. The soundtrack in this one is fantastic. Both the score and the music that was chosen for the film is incredible. They did such a great job on this film. The shots that are done in this film, some of them are almost breathtakingly so well done. There's not a bad thing. It's not a bad performance in this movie. All the actors work well together. We have like strong younger actors with a good base of like older character actors, and just overall, it's a fantastic vampire film. It's just a fantastic film either way. There's a good balance of horror and humor, something that's very, very hard to do. It's a very unique art to get the horror and humor ratio right. Just look at how many times the Nightmare on Elm Streets that they were kind of like into that got it so very wrong and went too far one way or the other and just didn't get the balance right. Fright Night gets the balance exactly right, and it would probably be, for me, even though Child's Play is a fantastic movie, Fright Night is the creative peak, I think, of Tom Holland, who just does an amazing job in the film. So that is my review, guys, for Fright Night. It's a solid, if I'm getting it 5 out of 5, it's 5 out of 5 apples. Bitten apples. I just watch the film. This is definitely a Halloween film for you guys to watch. I have some folding of some sheets to do over there. See if you can notice them or not. Yeah, you should have noticed in the background. And I gotta get some tea because tomorrow's my last day at my contract at the job I was at. I was working for an energy company in the public relations department and communications, and I'm going on to work and become literally the communications department of another company, where I do the job of what we have 6 or 7 people for over in the company that I'm at now. I'll be doing most of it on my own and contracting other stuff out. So it should be fun, challenging, frustrating, and fun. So if there's times when I'm not on here as much, I apologize, but I'm just going into a new position next Wednesday, and I want to make the best of it. I'll spend the first week or so just finding out exactly how things are done there, the structure and all that, and just get my office straightened away. But thank you guys for watching. Happy Halloween month. I'm loving it, and I just went to turn on Fright Night just to watch a couple minutes of it because I had originally planned to watch a different film, a more cheesy film. But it gets me every time. Every time I turn this movie on, I'm like, okay, I'll watch a bit of it. I want to listen to the song. I want to see the opening. I want to see Stephen Jeffrey say, "You're so cool, Brewster," and all that stuff. But no, I can't. It's that great of a film. Watch the 1985 Fright Night. It's much different than the remake. And the thing that I really hated about the remake. I didn't find the remake that bad. It was not the classic at all that this one was. It was a different type of film. But the line that I started with, the "Welcome to Fright Night." Uh, it's a hard line to get right, but there, I tried. Have a great night, and if you got any neighbors moving in, you might just want to let them do it. Not spend too much time looking out the window, just in case, because once you invite them in, they can come in anytime they want. Thanks for watching. For me right now, it's time for tea, and it's only early, so maybe one more movie. Have a great night.